between the two. And when you out here hustling, it gets rough. You know what I'm saying? Once you can put together that business, it changes things. Once you put together the business, it changes things. It becomes more predictable. Um, and all the other good stuff. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about tonight, man. Cordero was ambushed by this. He had no clue what we was talking about, but this is something that I was dealing with today. I actually sat down with my mentor today and was talking about, okay, how can I really get to building the business? You know what I'm saying? Working on the business, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, man, that's kind of been on my mind today.
Yeah, nah, man. Actually, this is like right up my alley. This is right up my alley. Because I think if you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur of any sorts, really this becomes the question. If you're getting started, unless your dad is Bill Gates, Phil Knight, Byron Scott, you know what I mean? Unless your dad, you born in business, then especially if you're making something for nothing, or just in general, if you start your own business, there's a part where it's hustling, there's a season where it's hustling, but at some point, I think we all want to get to a place where it's a business. And to Byron's point, I think, and I think about this all the time. I think the biggest distinction between, I guess you got to ask, what is it? What does it mean? And I think we hear a lot of people kind of just merge it all together. I'm a hustler. I'm a business owner. I'm the CEO. I do this and this and that. It's just like, dude, I think that it's important. Words have meaning, and we need to make those distinctions. The difference between being a hustler and somebody who out here hustling, trying to strive, work hard to get your next deal, and having an operational business that produces it. I think it all boils down to having a certain level of predictability. To having a certain level of predictability, and that is brought to you by knowing your numbers, having your numbers in place, things that you can depend on, and kind of. I mean, I think a lot of cats, especially if you're in that hustler mindset, like I'm just trying to do a deal. I'm trying to find my next deal, find my next deal. It's like when you're in that mindset, um, you're not necessarily thinking, what are my KPIs? You're not necessarily thinking how many leads did I have to buy, or how many cold calls, how many dials, how many this or how many that did I have to do to generate this result. You're just trying to make stuff happen. You're just trying to generate results. And that's how you got to be. You got to think like that, especially coming from nothing, like from ground zero. You got to be results based, results driven. But at some point, the result that you need to be looking for is how to know my numbers, to make them consistent, to make them turn them into a more repeatable pattern that I could have and create a level of predictability for myself. That is ultimately um, that's everything, and I think that's when you kind of get those feast or famine moments. And if Byron's saying he's a infant, then I'm a full blown embryo. If
Man, man, stop.
when it comes to this, just trying to really catch wind, and it's because, and I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who's I've had great months and I've had just flat out months and months without nothing. You know what I mean? But I still do this because it's something that I believe in, and it's something that I know that I can do well. And as time goes on, you can do well. So regardless, too, like Byron said, we was doing this for a while. We was having success, and then the market completely changed, and it changed for a lot of other people. If you're in the business of real estate transactions, home selling, like wholesalers, real estate agents, and maybe title companies. I don't know. Maybe title companies also experience it too. But homes going from one hand to the next. I think we all experienced a shift in how that was going. But if you know your numbers, then it doesn't matter. If you know your numbers, it might throw you off for a bit, but even to get back on track is a whole lot less of a process than somebody who's just out here swimming in the middle of the ocean solo. I don't have a ship, I don't have a team, I don't have a fail safe, I don't have any predictability. All I got is just me, and I'm hustling. That's cool, but you gotta start somewhere as far as building a foundation. But yeah, man. All right, you said you was talking to your mentor. What are some things that your mentor mentioned that I guess can help put you in the right track from where you at to get to
Really just talking about being able to see like my business, being able to see it like visually. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
being able to see the business and what's going on in the business. You should be able to look and you should be able to go into one place. Like if somebody asks you, hey, how's this going? How this going? You should be able to go into one place and
yeah,
have boom, here's where it is, type of thing. And I don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And like if there's something going on in my business, like if there's something going on with a lead, or if there's something going on with this or that, I should be able to go into one place and be able to pull up what's going on with that particular lead or that particular situation. Because what if somebody fall off the earth tomorrow? You know, it's like nobody knows what was going on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like if you go to a bank or you go to, let's say you got some type of service or something like that. Okay, the person you set your stuff up with fall off the planet tomorrow. Do you think they got no records of what you had going on with them? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're like, hold on, my server just went off. What happened? You call them up. Oh, such fell off planet Earth. You're like, but don't y'all have my stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, that one person was the only person who knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I'm doing business with the business, not with Steve. I'm doing
Exactly.
business with the business, not with Cordero. And even for the sellers, like I know I'm a point of contact, but ultimately, they're in their mind. Well, and honestly, in their mind, they're probably looking at RLS Realty Services or whoever his name is on on the paperwork. That's
Who
who
is
they're
it?
doing business with.
We
Uh,
would get somebody the contract yesterday. Like, who's Byron Scott?
yeah, but no, that's happened a couple times, dude. We had one seller, Byron. Yeah, yeah, Byron made him mad. They were just like, just as long as that other guy's name don't have his name on the paperwork, and we were like, Byron made him mad, boy. Byron called him. He said, "Listen, man, it's Byron Scott. You know what it is." They said, "Huh? We don't live in Georgia. We live in Tennessee." So they didn't know his name by heart. Everybody in Georgia know Byron. When he get on the phone, he like Grant Cardone.
Man, stop.
But
Man.
yeah. But when you think of doing a business, like going to do business, you like, I'm banking. You can have your banker, your loan officer that you work with. Yeah, but if that guy passes away, you're doing business with the bank. They should be able to have stuff on record.
No,
Um,
they better.
you know what I mean? Ideally, because look, I just finished reading, and man, it had to have gone past the radar. We talk about books that we read all the time. I just finished reading Phil Knight's memoir, Shoe Dog. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's a crazy book, man. That's a crazy book. You gotta go back and read that book, man.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
because the journey to build a multi-billion-dollar company like Nike, I wouldn't have thought it was like that. I don't know what I would have expected, but I wouldn't have thought it was that. You know what I mean? So, um, but I understand, like, speaking of doing business with the banker or the lender or the loan officer, um, like he had his lender or something like that, and it talks about how he had like the certain guys that he was working with and such and such. And so when he be working with those certain people at his vendors, and then they'll the dude he's working with for the shoe company leaves and they hire another person. He like, dude, who is this? But that didn't mean all business fell out of place just because they put a new person. They swapped out the people. It might have made things a little bit more difficult for him he had to rebuild the relationship. But ultimately, um, it didn't, they had a record of him being there. They knew he was there.
Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, that's kind of what they talked about: getting everything in one place. Setting up my operations, standard operating procedures. What happens when this happens? What happens when that
Yeah.
happens? Are these things being done manually or automatic? And 99% of the stuff that's done in my business is done on manual, not automatic. So trying to get more of it to be automatic, and then looking at positions. You know what I'm saying? Who's in this position? Do you have anybody doing this position? It's like, okay, in order for you to actually have a business, you kind of need everybody you kind of need to try to start firing yourself and allow people to take this position and this position and this position and this position. And you need somebody, that's kind of over all of the operations. So just talking about the different positions that I would need in order to make it an actual business, to where, you know, if I disappear, nobody's like, oh shoot, can't do it. We need to call him. You know what I'm saying? It's like I need different people in different positions to be able to do this stuff. And the stuff that I do, that I need to get it off me. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that I do, that I need to get it off me. So that was a lot of the stuff that we was talking about, but it all was going toward building a business. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway. And I just realized, like, dude, I got a long way to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think Phil Knight, Phil Knight worked, I don't know how many years before he like removed himself completely out of the business. And
Yeah.
then also, that's another thing that I gleaned from reading the book, was just the gradual, how he had employee number one, employee number two, and how he brought people onto his team as needed. And it wasn't, this, I'm talking about doing multi-million dollars in sales, and he like can only pay his team like $400 a month. Granted, this was like in the 70s
Yeah.
and 80s, but even still, it's just like, you know, I think we talk a lot about, like, a lot of guys, they're like, it's just like, ultimately, I think too, a part of having a business versus just hustling. One of the major distinctions, when me personally, when I'm in the mindset of hustler, and I've been through those seasons in my life, they come, they go, and I'm just trying to get like out of survival mode and just get to the next deal, versus in the business when I got, the forest is trees now. I got a little bit more aerial view. And so one of the biggest things is you have a solid direction as far as where you want to go. And so that's something that you got to be asking yourself, is like, where do I want to take this? How far what do I want? It's just like, man, do I want a business where I could make $100,000 a year net to me, and it's completely audible, it's completely automated, running on its own, and all I got to do is maybe 1 or 2 calls a week or something like that, then by all means, do your thizzle. But ultimately, if you are, if your goal is to do something bigger, huger, like, immense, I don't even know. I mean, do you want to be like a Grant Cardone, or do you want to be like a Mark Spain? These people are still integral parts of their business, and it's just about getting the systems and processes in place. It does take a lot of time, but I'm going to start answering some of these comments, even though I can't click on them. Jade in the building. Richard, Mr. Richard Jackson Jr. What's up, guys? Hey, Richard, I called the lead Myra. Had a great conversation. Actually, I'll send you a copy of the conversation if you can remind me. But Byron, I called her, and I think you had already had her on the phone. And so she called me back after. And I had a pretty good conversation. When I was talking to her, Byron texted me. He was like, oh, Richard already talked to her. So I was like, okay, got it. So I just started talking to her. I didn't mention that I was working with you or I was working with anybody. I just kind of talked to her, just let her know what we can do. I was just talking to her like normal, but I didn't make a point of mentioning that I was working with you. And I think that one can be a deal. It just depends on the condition. I don't know if you offered her 55, Richard, uh, put it in the comment section, yay or nay, if you offered her 55. Because she was like, I got one other offer for 54. Well, I asked, and that's another good question to ask these PPL leads is, do you got any other offers that you're considering or anything you're thinking about already? Ask them that just to see what information they're willing to give up to you. Sounds great. Yes, 55. Okay. You're the one. I was like, do you got any other offers? She said, I got another guy at 55. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll see what our cash offer is. The way she was talking, she was telling me that the house is out of code. She said that she had some situation going on with her mom um, living there, and her mom's caretaker, which is a friend of the family, had a situation. And ultimately, long story short, that led to the code, the county code, the city code, people coming over there saying that she's in violation. And now she has either three options: to fix all the code and get it up to code herself, to sell it, or get fined. And so she doesn't have the money. She just wants to go ahead and sell it. And then her mom is getting older. Her mom has dementia, so she's going to come move in with her, and they're selling that. And so ultimately, I was just like, we could list it. And she had a couple objections with listing it as far as wanting to list the property. Um, so, with that being said, I kind of worked around those objections, and I think she's ready to. She be open. What she said was this: well, can we agree on a cash offer? You guys can list it, and then if we can get more money, then we can get more. But otherwise, I just want the guaranteed cash offer because she wants to close in 30 days or less. She really wants to close in like 2 weeks and give her mom an extra 2 weeks to actually move out of the property. That would be best. But I said we can close in 30 days. So we could get her under contract at a price, list it still, and and see what we can get from listing it.
What,
But Richard, the benefit of her talking to you and talking to me, and probably thinking that we're separate, um, will allow us to see because that she's going to go with one of us, and ultimately she's going with either. She's going to go with both of us at that point.
who is it?
That lead, Myra, the one that was Richard's lead. When you text me and said Richard called her, she,
Oh, the one from Dalton.
huh?
The one from Dalton.
Yeah, I guess. Hold on. I don't
So
know.
how much were you offering?
I didn't give her an offer. She said that Richard offered her 55. She told me she wants 80 to 85. And so I was like, can you send me some pictures? Because she was talking, I think it has foundation issues, roof leaking, and a number of other things. So I was like, oh, I don't know about offering her anything really. But I was saying, can we list it? I was trying to plant that seed of listing it. Um, so I didn't know to go lower because I felt like if I offer her something lower, what if y'all need to go lower than 55? So I didn't offer her anything. She's going to send me pictures tomorrow, and I just wanted to push her towards listing it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Call
Hey,
him.
we got some people talking on IG. They said, when did you guys get into wholesaling real estate? Joshua Walker said that. I know Cordero been doing real estate since he was in diapers, but I just started actually doing a deal in 2020. I actually was reading books and educating myself. I was in the wilderness for 8 years before I ever did a deal. So, but yeah, I did my first deal in 2020. It's like I said at the beginning, like I'm just a baby in this game, man. You know what I'm saying? We got some heavy hitters over here saying that y'all should dive into business acquisitions, Cordero. You
Who said
can literally wholesale a business, close in 2 months each deal, at least 100K. He
I don't know who said that.
said y'all should shift y'all podcast to that.
Who said that?
What is it? Anasis or something
Do
like
you
that.
know them?
Adonis. I don't know.
Yeah, he
He
just
said, Joshua Walker, follow me. Let's JV. You in Florida?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's saying, I don't know what,
But
maybe he's saying wholesale businesses,
no, I mean, I think what the thing is,
business
I think just
acquisition. I guess
basically,
Alex Hormozy type stuff.
I guess so.
Oh,
Maybe I
he's
don't think. I
business.
think. I think what that guy was describing was like wholesaling businesses,
Oh,
basically the same thing, because you can do that, and that's fair. That's fair enough. However, when somebody hits y'all with that, you can make a guaranteed 100K a month, only make 3 calls. I'm like, dude, cut that out. He's got a point, but I'm like, all of them little details that you just said. It's just like we've been doing this for years, and you said y'all should just change that right now. Dude, how many business acquisitions have you
hey,
done?
you should say, yeah, let's go. Let's
All right, you know what, Byron,
do
let's cut everything that we've been doing out. Let's stop it.
it.
Change it. I should change it. It's like, dude, come on. What he said, his comment was, you should just jump ship. It's like,
Yeah,
no, I respect it because obviously, yes, I believe in this is one thing I do know because we talk about this all the time because we talk about the same energy that we put in wholesale and the residential real estate. We can put that same energy into wholesaling a commercial building, and those are more like larger spreads, 100K spreads. But it's just like it's not everything got its learning curve. Everything got its work. First of all, I would have to start back over from essentially ground zero with what I know as far as about that business. I do have the acquisition skills, but if I got into that business, I wouldn't know exactly all the details about the variables about business. But even if I did, I know that that's not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to switch it over here and I'm just going to instantly start doing it. This is what I would say to that guy who said that. I following my own advice, I would need a mentor who's doing it, not somebody who's talking about doing it and quotes throwing out, uh, you know,
Alex Hormozy
what you
quotes.
said,
Alex Hormozy quotes.
throwing out Alex Hormozy quote stuff that you read or watched somewhere else. Somebody who really does it and because was able to point me in the right direction. And I was like, yeah, I think to his point, just with all due respect to whoever said that, I think that their point was just like, listen, you hunt bigger prey, you get a bigger kill at the end of the day. So yeah, I respect that, but it's not as simple as just.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
would,
And another thing is like, man, I know people who sell stuff that's not as expensive as a house that's making a lot more money. You know what I'm saying? It's
oh,
like,
I know what you're talking about. I
hey,
know
hey,
we can't say that on. Hey,
exactly. Yeah, I'm like, hey, stop doing that and start doing what I'm doing. When in reality, they making a killing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know, you just don't understand. You know, everybody don't understand what people doing in different. You know, when they doing different stuff. It's like you may look at something like, man, why you selling that? You should be doing this over here. You know, you don't understand how they running it up. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand, you know, how crazy, you know, selling whatever they selling can go.
yeah,
So it's all about really, man, can you find one thing that you can repeat the sale of it or repeat that process of making money over and over and over again, make it predictable, and how hard can you push it? You know what I'm saying? In one direction. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like it's no, oh, this is the silver bullet. Oh, unless you're doing this over here. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're doing that. No, dude. There's people making money and getting money every kind of which way. But you definitely, regardless, one thing that is true about everybody that's killing it is they're going in one direction a million miles an hour. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know, they have, you know, even people, they might be doing different stuff now, but they went in one direction a million miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, don't tell me, oh, this is the way. Oh, that is the way. Oh, this is the way. Oh, go over here, go over here, go over here. It's like I say the same thing about marketing with wholesaling. People say, "Oh no, it's cold calling. Y'all got confused. All this other stuff is confused. Y'all, it's all about cold calling." Other people's like, "Oh, y'all should have never stopped texting. You should have kept texting people the whole time." Other people's like, "You're never going to be anything until you start doing PPC. You're never going to be anything. PPL is a new way." Da, da, da. It's like, dude, unless you decide to go one direction and go 1,000,000 miles an hour, none of the other stuff gonna matter. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna matter.
Yeah.
You have to pick one way to go and go 1,000,000 miles an hour. Those are the people that's really getting it. You know what I'm saying? There might be people that's doing different stuff and they hitting it, they're doing a pretty good job. But the people who chose one thing, that's like we talk about Dwayne. Dwayne said, "I'm listing these properties."
Yeah.
You like, "Look, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. 1,000,000 miles.
I'm saying this.
Do what?
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle said, "Forget what they saying. I'm saying this."
Exactly.
It's just like because there's so much many shiny objects out there. You got to be going 1,000,000 miles per hour, and you got to go to full hour. You got to go to full 1,000,000 miles. You got to go 10x speed wise, and you got to have the durability and the consistency and just the duration of like how long it takes to do this. Burnout can't be a question. Whatever, like you just got to be willing to go that hard in order to be successful at something. And I hate to just break it to you. And so that's why when somebody hits us with the, "Oh, you could be doing this, what you need to be doing," yada yada yada, with respect, because even like I said, much respect to whoever made that comment, because there are certain tweaks that you can make. No, there are certain tweaks that you have to make to ensure that your 1,000,000 miles per hour, or that the work that you putting in is worth it. Otherwise, you're just like wasting a lot of time. And you can go 1,000,000 miles per hour in the wrong direction. Let me be the first to tell you that. Right? And that's with anything you do in life. That's what people get 10, 11 years into a relationship and be like, "I don't think this is the one. I don't think this was the one for me."
Yeah.
People get so far down the line. It's just like people play basketball all their life until they graduate high school or something like that and be like, "Man, I don't think I'm going to the NBA." You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't think he was ever. And so you can't go far in a
senior year.
What'd you say?
Some people like, "I don't think I'm playing my senior year." They didn't play from kindergarten all the way up. And they're like, "Man, this senior year, I ain't
Yeah, I got a little brother. My little brother said that. My little brother just turned like 15 or 16. I said, "You still playing sports?" He said, "Nah, I had to hang it up." Hang it up. He said, "Hang it up," like he was 39.
Exactly.
Hang it up. So, ultimately, you can't go far. So, with respects, there are certain tweaks that help you stay focused and that will help improve on your game and the work that you're doing. But for the most part, it's harder. It's more powerful to be able to say no. It's far more powerful in all facets. Like when it comes to, and we could take it off of business. We could bring it to your relationship life again. It's just like being married ain't just about saying yes to your wife. It's about saying no to every other woman out there every day for the rest of your life. No, 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 no. You know what I mean? Being present in your children's life. It's not just about saying yes to your kids. It's about saying no to everything else you could be doing. I could be out there just still trying to be young, be a player, but I'm here being dad tonight and every night. And so it's constantly saying no. And so that's what it means to going fast forward with velocity in one direction. That's what's going to determine success. And especially in this market, it's because things are a lot harder. Things are a lot tougher. And so you got to, whereas like I was talking about, like it feels like you got to work 10 times as harder to get 1/4 as far. Yeah. And so that could easily trick a person in their mind to think, "Man, all of this work I'm doing just to get this, it's maybe I need to be doing something else." I'm like, "No, trust me, you're in the right path. It's just harder to do hard things."
Yeah.
Like the bigger picture is always worth it. And so keep traveling forward with speed. I'm not going to get off what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out how to go harder. Yeah. We're trying to expand while others contract. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Greg Cardone talks about it in the 10X rule because he knows when things get harder, more and more people contract. And the deeper you get off into tough times, the more people say they go from wholesale business to wholesale. Well, they never had a business. It was more like they go from being a wholesale hustler to, dude, I'm about to go see what this. I'm about to go see what it's like working at Verizon Wireless. See what that's talking about. I'm about to go back to teaching. I'm about to go back to teaching. I'm about to go get a job over here at the factory or something like that. It's like,
Hey,
okay,
every time I talk to one of my little old teacher friends, I'm like, man, I'm finna have to go back to teaching. They're like, oh yeah, they just wait for me to come back. It's like, well, I'll just wait for you to come back.
yeah. I remember I worked at this one. I worked at a call center. This was 2016, 2017, and it wasn't that I was leaving there to start real estate. I was leaving there to go to a different job. But I knew from that job, like I was going to do this job and I was going to take all my money and invest in real estate. I knew that. But I left, and like the day I left, or maybe like the week I left, I told it was a manager, but she managed the team across the way from my team. And I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. She's like, are you leaving? You'll be back. And that thing, like, there's some nights where I be sleeping, stressing, and I'll wake up and all I hear is, you'll be back. Because I'm just like, I think in her mind on the low, she was just like, ain't no way you about to leave out of here before I leave out of here. I'm trapped here. You know, I'm like, what you mean
You
I'll
got
be back?
too.
Yeah, she couldn't even say, oh, congratulations. She was just like, oh, you'll be back here with the rest of us. That's what she said, actually. She said, you'll be back like the rest of them. Oh, like she said it like I was coming out of a rehab center, or out of prison or something like that. Like, what is this? I'm like, oh, okay. And that's been fuel, at least not to go back there to that place.
Yeah. So, Coach,
Man,
what's going on, Coach? Man, Coach in the building. Man,
hey,
things
coach got a deal about the clothes,
Coach got a deal about the close, man. Deal close next week.
by the way.
Sheesh. Can't go backwards. Yeah, you right about that, Rich, man. Can't go backwards for sure. I just be laughing though. I've been in plenty of places where I couldn't go backwards. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I left my mom and dad's house, couldn't go backwards. It was like, dude, you know how much stuff I went through and never had to call them for a dime. It's like, man,
Dude,
could not go backwards. It wasn't even an option. Not even that they weren't gonna let me. It's
right.
just like you just knew the expectation. The expectations, man. Like, dude, I've had expectations since the beginning. I got what 6 older brothers. You know, they set expectations everywhere they went. They went to the classroom. They was always good. Teachers expect you to come in and be top notch. Never do anything wrong. Never get in trouble. Never say anything out of the way. Be the perfect student. That was the expectation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the expectation was to never get in trouble ever in your life. Don't never go to detention. People talking about ISL. Are you kidding me? Dude, never get in any trouble ever in your life because that was the expectation. The
Yeah.
expectations. It was like, dude, you go out here and play. Like I would go, you playing baseball or basketball or football at any level. Like I was in high school. The coach is like, are you as good as your brother? Just like that's the only thing they want to know. It's like expectations, man. It's like,
Yeah.
I always had expectations. So it's like to reach that, I've always had to try, I'm always reaching, the expectations that I see is like, but there's no pressure. Like I don't even feel it, and I
Yeah.
don't feel the pressure of I'm gonna go backwards or this, that, and this. It's like, dude, I'm gonna make this work, and because it's just the way it all like, dude, I no other option. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
There's
I know
no
what
other
that's like, bro.
option but to chase the meat truck and catch the meat truck. That's the only option. That's the only thing I can eat. Like, it's nothing else to eat. The meat truck is running away from me. I gotta catch it. There's no other option. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Dude.
yeah,
And,
man.
and the thing is, I know exactly. I'm all too familiar with that. Like that was one thing almost discouraging when I was reading Phil Knight's memoir about creating Nike, because he was just like, the first portion of the book, he was building it and he was living in his parents' basement. He was just like, I'm 24 years old and I'm living in my parents' basement. I can't do that. That's
Exactly.
he complaining. I was like, bro, if I could go back and stay,
But you got no basement. I didn't know, man.
basement, brother. My parents, you know, there be. I mean, my mom's straight now, but there have been times where I was like, dude, I thought my dad was gonna have to come live with me or something like that. Like, it's just like, dude, if there, you heard of burning the boats. We have no boats. We had no boats to begin with. Mom, you know, Easy hustles. We inherited no dollars, just my parents' honor. I didn't hear it, nothing, no, nothing. So it's just like the idea of going back to living at home. Like I've lived in my car before. I've slept out. I didn't have a car. I was sleeping outside before
Exactly, dude.
in the cold. Oh my goodness! And so it's just like not because I didn't have no options. Like you don't have an option, right? And so with that being said, it's just like when you start when you can identify with that, it creates a different understanding. And honestly, the world relies on people who make a way when there seems to be no way. Ultimately, people who's willing to stand, because I know that God makes provisions for us all. God says, like, I make provisions for the trees, the lions, the alligators. I make provisions for everything that I ever created. You think I won't take care of you? And after everything I've been through, I'm still here. And I've never starved to death. I can tell you that. Even though there's times I was close, I never starved to death. And so that's why it's just like having faith. I know it's a faith-based journey, but whether people give it credit or not, that is a huge element about this. But being able to stand and to endure and to continue on regardless, that's such a powerful thing. And this is for whatever you're doing. Because like I said, we can always take it off business and take it back to being a husband or to being a wife, to being in a relationship. I had never been married, but I'm sure there's times where you're like, bro, I'm about to go back. We talking about going backwards. You like, I'd rather be single than be here dealing with this. But being able to stand through that, that is a true testament. It's not even supposed to be easy. There's probably times where it feels a lot easier to just, again, walk out on your kids. I don't have kids, but I'm sure like there's a lot of cats that I know that ain't good fathers, but there's a lot of young dudes, especially that I know that's gonna be there in their kid's life, in spite of whatever they've experienced. Like my dad was never in my life, but I got kids now. I'm gonna be there for them, regardless. And that's not having any option. You know what I mean? So I think knowing that just kind of come with the game. You don't have to go backwards. You just got to get stronger. And everything you experience in this moment is making you stronger. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's like you realize that's the entrepreneur journey. That's the business.
Yeah.
You know, when you in business, it's like it's not like showing up to a job and long as I show up to this job, they're gonna keep sending me the same paycheck, same paycheck. It doesn't work like that, man. It's like it's going to be ups and downs because markets go up and they go down. That's what markets do. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to be able to, stay level. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to stay level, man, because if you get too high, get too low, it'll really throw you off. And that's why we talk about this so much. This entrepreneur journey is as much as a mental thing as it is straight up business. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they can get the business down, they can do some things, but mentally, when things go south, they don't know how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Or when things go north, things going great, they don't know how to handle it. What do? They go on all these vacations. They do crazy stuff. They do stupid stuff. They go blow all this stuff, or they build this stupid team, go buy a stupid building, try to look super fancy and end up spending all this money and getting in over their head. And then when the market started to go back down, then what happened? You know what I'm saying? Now they gotta get rid of everybody. They gotta get out of that building. They gotta, you know what I'm saying?
I know that.
You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you got to be able to handle it up or down. You got to be able to handle it and stay steady. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're getting started, it's like, man, I ain't got no deal. I ain't got no deal. Yay, I got a deal. I got a deal. Oh, I ain't got no deal. I got a deal. Yay, I got a deal. I got a deal. You got to just keep working, man. You got to keep showing up to work and just keep doing the same thing. Just like the days where you feel like you got a deal, days you feel like you ain't got a deal, you just got to keep grinding away. Because, you can't be up and down with, hey, I got a deal. Oh, I got no deal. Hey, I got a deal.
That affect the time you putting into it too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because when you're not feeling it and you let that determine how hard you're gonna go that day, then it creates a cycle. You gotta put the same work and go as hard even when you're not feeling it, when you haven't gotten a deal, because then that's really how you get back on track. That's really how the floodgates open. Especially if you're still in that mindset of like wholesale hustle, like in a hustler's mindset. But again, that's another reason why we say you got to have a business where you know your numbers. I learned this from Mark Spain. I mean, just in general, there's a lot of books about creating a business versus having a solopreneurship. But a business is one where you know the numbers. So he says, even no matter what the market is doing, he can tell you what's going to happen next month or the next 2 months based upon these certain indicators. How many people are responding? Like he can say, like, okay, how many PPL leads come in per day? And I'm just giving an example because I highly doubt he does PPL, Mark Spain. He probably has his own PPC and Google AdWords and things like that, but you catch my drift. Based upon how many PPL leads come in per day, that's going to tell me how many deals I'm going to close next month, right? And so what he does is if he sees that number start to dip, he said, okay, if I want to have the same outcome next month, then I know I probably need to buy more leads or start to make the adjustments now. That's the thing, that when you can actually have a handle on your numbers and what they do on a consistent basis, then if you notice something start to change, here's another benefit of being able to have that aerial view of your business, where you can kind of look down in your business from start to finish. Like when you open the hood up and you can look off underneath the hood of your car and see, okay, what's smoking in here? Because it's a uniform system. Everything works in its place. It's already in its place. It's not usually chaos under the hood of an engine. Not usually. Some of y'all cars probably are, but for the most part, everything's in its place. The battery's over here, the engine's right there, the alternator's wherever it's at, etc. But if something goes wrong, that's why a mechanic can open up the hood. He can aerial view. He can say, okay, that's where the problem is, right here. The engine is smoking. It's not the battery. The battery's not smoking. The alternator not smoking. The so on and so forth. Likewise with your business. When you get an aerial view, you can say, okay, PPL clicking, acquisition is going good. Our conversion rate is going good. The dispo, we're getting properties listed on time. We're getting offers back. Where's the problem? Oh, it's transactional coordination. There's always title issues, right? Or everything is good, but something, the deal flow started to slow down. What happened? Oh, it's acquisition. It's like we're getting enough lead coming in, but the conversion rate is trash. What happened with acquisition? We need to make some adjustments in the acquisition department, right? Yeah. That's only if you have a business to where you can look back at things like that.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But shoot, man, we've been on this thing 45 minutes. Cordero ain't gonna make it to the store on time.
I'm gonna make it to the store on time. I gotta go. I gotta roll, y'all.
Yeah, Cordero got to roll. Last look, Jade always got a question, man. Lady Kimberly and Conyers for cosmetic work looking to get to a teller 205. We ignore the high end. The assessment is 256. Where do you think we would need it at for a cash offer or listed, guys? I think 205. Let me stick it in this calculator. The same calculator I already gave, Jade. Let me stick it in there for you, though. Let's see. Let's see what the calculator
below that 200 mark.
Do what that?
I'm saying we need to, if she at 205 to 230, she's at 205. And we need to break her down below that 200, even if it's 199, 195. We need to get her down there. Those 100K marks are the ones you got to kind of like break the people at. Like,
So I think Novation, the highest we could potentially go on the MLS listing is 190.
Like
Um,
with the seller, that's how much we could list it for.
with the seller.
Yeah, yeah. I told you we need to get it down below that 100, and that's what I was gonna say too.
And
190.
then the wholesale, we need it at 152.
Yeah, all day long. I was gonna say 190
That
because what
sounds
I
about
did,
right. When
if this estimate is 256, 70% of that is like 179. So I was just like, okay,
yeah,
70%, and we
yeah,
can if we list it, we can probably get them about $10,000 more. That's why I was gonna say 190. But I knew we need to get her below that 200.
yeah. When me buying it, if I bought it, I always think take 100K off top of this estimate. Take 100K off
But I'm
because
saying, like, if you do 70% of the Zestimate, subtract rehab fees and subtract your fee, it usually ends up to 100K off the Zestimate.
yeah, it
Now,
usually ends up to 100K off
it,
of
my number starts to end up right exactly where Byron be like, I buy it at this price. I'm like, yep, buy it right there. So
Yeah, usually about 100 grand off. So a couple of variables could change that, but usually when there ain't nothing crazy going on, just take 100 grand off. Especially if it's in the 200s or 300s. Once you get beyond that, it changes. Once you get below, down deep into the 100s, then it becomes like half off. You know. But anyways, man, we're finna get out of this thing. Cordero, go ahead and get to the sofa. Jay and ask another question. Well, Rich asked another question. But Cordero, go ahead, man. I'm out of here too. Until tomorrow, man, we'll be back up in this thing. Appreciate y'all coming through, man. Rich, we'll get your question answered though. But until tomorrow, man, you guys gonna reach out to Nara tomorrow.
hey, we'll keep look, she don't know we're working together. So whatever you had planned, just continue on. And then I'll reach out to her too. I'll call you tomorrow morning so we can talk about it.
All right, let's do it then.
All
All
right.
right, man. Appreciate y'all.